Defiance among the stars. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge of the Earth vessel Resolute, her eyes fixed on the swirling azure planet that dominated the view screen. Tension filled the air as her crew worked quietly around her, the only sounds the soft beeping of consoles and the low hum of the ship's engines. "Captain, I've confirmed the readings," said Dr. Eliza Wright, her chief medical officer. "The atmospheric samples match our database. It's definitely Nexus 7, a respiratory pathogen with an estimated mortality rate of 60%. Maya nodded grimly, brushing a strand of black hair from her face. "And the population centers?" 17 major cities, approximately 3 billion sentients, replied Communications Officer Ravi Mehta. "They call themselves the Xerillians. Based on intercepted communications, they've lost nearly 200 million already." Lieutenant Commander Jackson, the ship's XO, cleared his throat. "Captain, Galactic Council protocols are clear. Quarantine Directive 317 prohibits any contact with infected worlds until approved by the Health Intervention Committee." "And how long until the committee makes a decision?" Maya asked, though she already knew the answer. "Standard review is 3 to 6 months. Jackson replied stiffly. "The Council has placed warning beacons around the system. We're technically not even supposed to be this close." Maya's jaw tightened as she studied the readings. The Resolute had been on a routine exploration mission when they detected the distress signals. The Xerillians weren't a spacefaring species. They had basic orbital capabilities, but nothing that would allow them to seek help beyond their solar system. "They won't last 6 more weeks, let alone 6 months, Dr. Wright said quietly, her eyes on the medical data streaming across her tablet. Maya turned to face her crew. 25 humans, representing the best Earth had to offer in its recent admission to the Galactic Council. They'd been warned repeatedly about Council protocols, the complex bureaucracy that governed the thousands of species across known space. "Bring up the Council directive again," Maya ordered. The text appeared on the main screen, cold and clinical. "Non-interference is mandated for any civilization experiencing Category 3 or higher contagion events until proper assessment and intervention protocols can be established by designated Council authorities. They're dying down there while bureaucrats debate," Maya said softly. She looked at each of her senior officers in turn. "I was sent here because Earth wanted someone who would uphold human values. And humans don't watch billions die when we can help." Jackson stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Captain, this goes against direct orders. We could lose Earth's probationary status in the Council." "Note your objection in the log, Commander," Maya replied. "But I won't watch people die when we have the means to help them." She straightened her uniform and made her decision. "Dr. Wright, prepare your medical team. Lieutenant Russo, begin synthesizing treatment protocols based on our Nexus 7 vaccine. Commander Jackson, prepare a first contact package." "Captain," Jackson began. "I understand the risks," Maya cut him off. "If anyone wishes to formally object, do so now, and I'll note it in the ship's log." The bridge fell silent. After a moment, Dr. Wright smiled slightly. "My team will be ready in 2 hours, Captain." "The Xerillians are broadcasting on all frequencies," Ravi reported. "They're begging for help from anyone who can hear them." "Then let's make sure they know someone was listening," Maya replied. "Take us into orbit." 24 hours later, Maya led the first landing party to the surface of Xerillia. The capital city sprawled below their shuttle, a beautiful arrangement of spiral structures that would have been breathtaking if not for the emergency vehicles darting between buildings and the mass cremation pyres burning on the outskirts. The Xerillians themselves were tall, slender beings with iridescent blue skin and 4 arms. Their eyes, 3 of them arranged in a triangle, blinked rapidly as the humans emerged from their shuttle in containment suits. The being who stepped forward wore elaborate robes with swirling patterns that Maya guessed indicated leadership status. "I am High Chancellor Vex of the Xerillian Confederation," the translator in Maya's helmet interpreted. "You come from beyond our system." "Captain Maya Chen of the Earth vessel Resolute," she replied, keeping her movements slow and deliberate. "We received your distress calls and have come to offer assistance." The High Chancellor's eyes widened. "The warning beacons. Other ships came but left when they saw them. They said it was forbidden to help us." "We believe that no one should suffer when help is possible," Maya said simply. "We've brought medical supplies and personnel who understand this disease." Vex's hands, all four of them, trembled slightly. The sickness came suddenly. Our best minds have failed to stop it. Nearly a tenth of our people are already gone. Maya nodded to Dr. Wright, who stepped forward with a case of medical equipment. "We have experience with similar pathogens. With your permission, we'd like to begin work immediately." "Other visitors warned us of a galactic council," Vex said hesitantly. "They said interference was forbidden." Maya met the alien's gaze steadily. "Where I come from, saving lives is all the permission we need." The Xerillian treatment centers were overwhelmed. Bodies lined the corridors of once pristine medical facilities, and exhausted medical workers moved between patients with the slow, deliberate movements of those who had already accepted defeat. Dr. Wright worked tirelessly with her team, adapting Earth's Nexus 7 vaccine to Xerillian physiology. The humans worked alongside the alien doctors, breaking every non-interference protocol in the Council handbook. "Their immune system is fascinating," Wright told Maya during a brief break. "They have triple helix DNA and a cellular structure that should make them more resistant to this type of pathogen." "Something's not adding up." "What do you mean?" Maya asked. "This disease, it's too perfectly targeted to their physiology. Natural pathogens don't evolve this way." Wright's expression was grim behind her face shield. "I think this was engineered." Maya felt a chill run through her. "You think someone did this deliberately?" Before Wright could answer, Commander Jackson's voice came through her comm unit. "Captain, we have a situation. 3 Council enforcement vessels have entered the system. They're demanding that we cease all surface operations immediately." Maya closed her eyes briefly. "How long until they reach orbit?" 6 hours, maybe 7 if they follow standard approach protocols." "And the vaccine?" Wright checked her data. "The first batch is showing promising results. We need another 12 hours to confirm effectiveness and begin mass production." "Then we have 12 hours, Maya said firmly. "Keep working. I'll deal with the Council." Back aboard the Resolute, Maya faced the incoming transmission from the lead Council vessel. The being on screen was a Thrax, an insectoid species known for their rigid adherence to regulations. "Captain Chen, you are in violation of Quarantine Directive 317. The Thrax's mandibles clicked as it spoke. "You will withdraw your personnel and depart the system immediately." "Enforcement officer," Maya replied calmly, "we are providing emergency medical assistance to a population in crisis. Unauthorized intervention is forbidden. The Council's Assessment Committee has not approved contact with the Xerillians." Maya leaned forward. "People are dying while your committee deliberates. We have a treatment that works. In 12 hours, we can begin saving billions of lives." "Protocol exists for reasons, human," the Thrax said. "Unsanctioned intervention creates unpredictable outcomes. You will withdraw now or face sanctions against your species." "I respectfully decline," Maya said. "We'll complete our medical mission. If the Council wishes to punish Earth for saving lives, we'll accept those consequences." The Thrax's compound eyes seemed to glitter with anger. "Your primitive species has been in Council space for less than a decade. You do not understand the complexities. We understand that inaction in the face of suffering is complicity," Maya interrupted. "We'll transmit our medical data to your vessels. Feel free to assist or stay out of our way." She cut the transmission before the Thrax could respond. "That went well," Ravi commented dryly from his station. Maya smiled grimly. "Open a channel to Earth Command. They should know what's coming." The next 12 hours were a race against time. On the planet's surface, Dr. Wright confirmed the vaccine's effectiveness and began mass production using the Xerillians' manufacturing facilities. In orbit, the Council enforcement vessels maintained position, issuing increasingly threatening demands for withdrawal. When the first Council shuttle landed near the capital city, Maya was there to meet it, along with High Chancellor Vex and several Xyrillian officials. The Thrax emerge, accompanied by representatives from 3 other species, a gelatinous Mern, a reptilian saurid, and to Maya's surprise, a Cephian, one of the oldest and most respected council races. "You persist in your violation, Captain Chen," the Thrax said without preamble. "I persist in saving lives," Maya replied. "Our vaccine works. Distribution has already begun in the hardest-hit areas." The Cephian moved forward, its tentacles rippling with bioluminescent patterns. "The Council takes a grave view of your actions, human." "With respect, Elder," Maya gestured to the city around them. "Would you have preferred we let them die?" "The Council's procedures," the Thrax began, "have failed these people," Maya interrupted. 3 billion lives against a procedural violation. There's no comparison. The Cephian studied her for a long moment. "You are very certain of your moral position." "I am," Maya said simply. "And yet," the Cephian continued, "have you considered why a quarantine directive was implemented in the first place? Why Council scientists were not dispatched immediately?" Maya frowned. "I assumed typical Council bureaucracy. An engineered pathogen does not appear naturally," the Cephian said quietly. Maya's blood ran cold. "You knew." "The Council suspected," the Cephian corrected. "An investigation was underway. While people died," Maya said, her voice hard. "Captain," Dr. Wright's voice came through her comm. "You need to see this. We've analyzed the pathogen's complete structure. It contains markers, synthetic components that couldn't have evolved naturally." "Send it to my display," Maya ordered. When the data appeared, she held it up for the Council representatives to see. "Your investigation might want to start here. This disease was created in a lab." The Council representatives examined the data, their reactions unreadable to human eyes. "This changes nothing," the Thrax insisted. "Protocol." "This changes everything," the Cephian interrupted. "Captain Chen, your intervention was unauthorized, but perhaps timely." As the sun set over the Xyrillian capital, Maya stood with Dr. Wright watching as lines of citizens received their vaccinations. Already, the death rate was decreasing in the areas where treatment had begun. "The Council's going to make an example of us," Wright said quietly. Maya nodded. "Probably. But I can live with that better than I could have lived with doing nothing." High Chancellor Vex approached them, all 3 eyes blinking in what Maya had learned was an expression of deep emotion. "My people have a saying," Vex said through the translator. "The hand that reaches out in darkness is the hand of the divine. Your Earth will always have friends among the Xyrillians, Captain Chen." Maya smiled. "Where I come from, it's just what neighbors do." Aboard the Resolute, Maya received the official communication from Earth Command. As expected, the Council had filed formal censure against Earth and revoked their exploratory privileges. The message ended with a personal note from Admiral Jansen. "Officially, consider yourself reprimanded. Unofficially, well done, Captain. Some principles are worth the price." Maya looked out at the stars, thinking about the billions of lives continuing below. "Some things," she said to herself, "don't need permission." The price of compassion. 3 weeks after the Resolute began its intervention on Xyrillia, Captain Maya Chen found herself standing in the observation deck, watching as the massive Council diplomatic vessel moved into position alongside her ship. The sleek, kilometer-long craft dwarfed the Resolute, its crystalline hull refracting starlight into rainbow patterns. "Quite the reception committee," commented Commander Jackson, who had joined her at the viewport. "The Grand Arbiter herself. You've certainly gotten their attention, Captain." Maya nodded, her expression carefully neutral. "How's our status planet-side?" Dr. Wright reports 93% vaccination coverage in the major population centers. Death rates have fallen to near zero for newly infected patients with treatment. The Xyrillians are calling it a miracle. "No miracles," Maya said quietly. Just people doing what needed to be done. She turned from the viewport. And our guests. The High Chancellor's delegation has arrived in Shuttle Bay too. They're quite insistent about being present for the council hearing. Maya smiled slightly. Good. We could use some allies. The Resolute's conference room had been transformed for the occasion. The standard furniture had been replaced with accommodations suitable for the diverse physiologies of the council representatives. At the center stood a raised dais where the Grand Arbiter would preside. Maya entered wearing her formal dress uniform, the midnight blue fabric adorned with Earth's insignia. A silver globe encircled by olive branches. Behind her came her senior officers and Dr. Wright. They took their positions on one side of the room. The doors opened again to admit High Chancellor Vex and 3 other Xyrillian officials. Their normally iridescent skin had regained its healthy glow, a stark contrast to the sickly pallor Maya had first encountered. They nodded respectfully to the humans before taking seats opposite them. Last came the council delegation, species Maya recognized, and some she didn't filed in, taking their designated positions. Finally, the Grand Arbiter entered, a Cephian elder whose skin rippled with complex patterns of light that seemed to form and reform into intricate symbols. This extraordinary session is now convened, announced a mechanical translator. Before us is the matter of Earth vessel Resolute's violation of Quarantine Directive 317 regarding the planet designated Xyrilia. The Arbiter's tentacles curled in what Maya had learned was a gesture of formal acknowledgement. Captain Maya Chen, you stand accused of willful violation of council law, unauthorized intervention in a quarantine system, and disruption of an official investigation. How do you respond? Maya stepped forward. With respect, Grand Arbiter, I acknowledge our actions but reject the characterization of wrongdoing. We responded to a humanitarian crisis when no other help was forthcoming. The Thrax enforcement officer clicked his mandibles in agitation. The human admits violation, yet shows no remorse. This demonstrates Earth's fundamental incompatibility with Council principles. If Council principles require watching billions die when help is possible, Maya replied evenly, then perhaps incompatibility is something Earth should embrace. Murmurs rippled through the assembled delegates. The Arbiter's skin flashed patterns of what might have been irritation. Captain Chen, you were aware that Council scientists were preparing an intervention. We were informed of a review process that would take months. Maya answered. The Xyrillians didn't have months. High Chancellor Vex rose, the formal robes of state flowing around his slender frame. If I may address the Council, the people of Xyrilia owe our continued existence to Captain Chen and her crew. When your beacons warned ships away, when your protocols demanded patience while my people died by millions each day, these humans acted with compassion and courage. The Xyrillians are not a council member race, the Thrax pointed out. They have no standing in these proceedings. And yet they are the ones most affected by the decision in question. Came a new voice. A Nerovian delegate stepped forward, her crystalline form shimmering. Perhaps that gives them the greatest standing of all. The Arbiter's tentacles waved, calling for order. The issue before us is not the outcome, but the process. Council law exists to maintain order among thousands of species with different values and priorities. And when the process itself causes harm, Maya asked, when adherence to procedure costs lives. A simplistic view, sniffed a Mern delegate, its gelatinous body quivering. The Council must consider countless factors beyond immediate outcomes. Dr. Wright stepped forward. Grand Arbiter, if I may. As the medical officer who led the intervention, I have data relevant to these proceedings. After a moment's consideration, the Arbiter gestured permission. Wright activated a holographic display. Our analysis confirmed what some on the Council already suspected. The Nexus 7 pathogen affecting Xyrilia was not natural, but engineered. Specifically, it was engineered with knowledge of Xyrillian biology that would require extensive study. The display showed molecular structures highlighting artificial components in the virus. These markers are consistent with advanced bioengineering techniques, Wright continued. Techniques that, according to Council records, are possessed by only 8 spacefaring species. A hush fell over the room. "Are you making an accusation, Doctor?" the Arbiter asked quietly. "I'm presenting evidence," Wright replied. "Evidence that while the Council deliberated, someone with advanced capabilities deliberately unleashed this pathogen on a pre-spacefaring civilization." The Nerovian delegate moved closer to the display. "These structures, they resemble Thrax military bioweapons." The Thrax enforcement officer's mandibles clicked rapidly. "This is outrageous. The Thrax Imperium would never." "The genetic markers are unmistakable," Wright interrupted, "and the targeted nature of the pathogen suggests intimate knowledge of Xyrillian physiology, knowledge that would only be available to someone who had conducted extensive biological sampling." Maya watched as understanding dawned across the room. "The Xyrillians reported unidentified vessels in their system approximately 6 months ago," she said. "Vessels that conducted what they believed were standard astronomical surveys." High Chancellor Vex's 3 eyes widened. "The silver ships, they offered technological exchange. We provided biological samples as part of medical cooperation." The Arbiter's skin had gone nearly white, the luminescent patterns frozen. "These are serious allegations requiring investigation." An investigation was supposedly already underway, Maya pointed out. Yet the Council's first action was quarantine, not aid. Why? A tense silence filled the room. The Nerovian delegate's crystalline form seemed to sharpen with anger. "I believe I can answer that question. The preliminary investigation indicated possible Thrax involvement, but the Thrax delegation threatened to withdraw from Council agreements if publicly accused. So billions were left to die to maintain political stability," Maya said, her voice hard. "The Council serves many interests," the Mern began. "It should serve justice first," interrupted a deep voice. A humanoid delegate with scaled skin stood. "I am Ambassador Krex of the Saurid Communion. For too long, the elder races have used Council procedure to advance their interests while claiming impartiality." The room erupted into argument, accusations flying between different factions. The Arbiter's skin flashed with patterns so rapid they blurred together as she called for order. Maya stepped into the center of the chaos. "Enough." Surprised by the human's outburst, the delegates fell silent. "While you debate politics, the fundamental question remains unanswered," Maya said, her voice ringing through the chamber. "When lives are at stake, what matters more, following procedure or doing what's right?" She turned slowly, meeting the eyes, optical sensors, or sensory organs of each delegate. "On Earth, we have a concept called moral imperative, the obligation to act when inaction would cause harm. It transcends law, politics, and convenience." The Arbiter studied Maya. "And if everyone decided which laws to follow based on personal moral judgment, Captain, then you'd have a society where people think before they act," Maya replied. "Where they question whether a rule serves justice or merely order. Isn't that preferable to blind obedience?" Chancellor Vex moved to stand beside Maya. "The Xyrillian people had no voice in your council, no representative to argue for our survival. Captain Chen became that voice. If that violates your laws, perhaps your laws need reconsidering." The Arbiter's tentacles curled in what might have been thoughtfulness. After a long moment, she spoke. "This session will recess while the Council delegates confer. We face not one question, but many: intervention policy, the alleged bioweapon, and humanity's place in the galactic community." Maya returned to the Resolute with her senior staff to await the Council's decision. Hours stretched into a full day as deliberations continued. "They could expel Earth entirely," Jackson said as they gathered in Maya's ready room. "We knew the risks." "I'd make the same choice again," Dr. Wright said firmly. 3 billion lives, Commander." "As would I," Maya agreed. "And I believe Earth would stand by our decision." The call finally came. The Council had reached a verdict. Back in the conference room, Maya stood tall as the Arbiter prepared to announce the decision. The room was more crowded now. Additional delegates had arrived, representing species that normally sent only junior representatives to proceedings. The matter before us has revealed fractures within the Council that cannot be ignored. The Arbiter began. Questions of our fundamental purpose and priorities require extended consideration. Her skin rippled with complex patterns. Regarding the specific charges against Captain Chen and the Resolute, the Council acknowledges that while procedural violations occurred, they were undertaken to prevent an extinction-level event. Therefore, all sanctions against Earth are lifted. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the room. Furthermore, the Arbiter continued, evidence of engineered pathogen deployment against the Xyrillians will be investigated by a special committee with representatives from all Council categories, including probationary members like Earth. The Thrax delegation chittered in protest, but the Arbiter continued. Most significantly, the Council recognizes that our non-interference protocols require revision. A new framework will be developed that balances procedural caution with moral imperative in crisis situations. Maya felt a weight lift from her shoulders. Not vindication exactly, but acknowledgement that the principles she'd fought for had merit. The Xyrillian Confederation will be offered protected status and, should they wish it, a path to Council membership. The Arbiter concluded. Chancellor Vex's eyes blinked rapidly in what Maya now knew was the Xyrillian expression of joy. After the formal proceedings concluded, the Arbiter approached Maya privately, her translator deactivated. You have disrupted centuries of political balance, Captain Chen, the Cephian said, her natural voice a series of melodic tones that Maya's translator rendered into English. That wasn't my intention, Maya replied honestly, and yet it may be what the Council needed. The Arbiter's skin rippled with subtle patterns. Your species acts quickly, sometimes rashly, but there is wisdom in your impatience. Maya raised an eyebrow. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or a warning. Perhaps both, the Arbiter replied. The younger races have been demanding reform for generations. Your actions provided the catalyst for change that was long overdue. She extended a tentacle in what Maya recognized as a gesture of respect. Humanity brings something new to our community, a willingness to act decisively even at personal cost. The Council needs this quality, especially now. Now, Maya asked. The galaxy grows more complex, Captain. Old balances shift, new threats emerge. The Arbiter's skin darkened. The Thrax bioweapon was not deployed without reason. They fear what lies beyond the outer rim, as do many of us. Before Maya could ask for clarification, the Arbiter moved away to join the other delegates. Later, as the Resolute prepared to depart Xyrillia, Maya received a message from Earth Command. Admiral Jansen's face appeared on her screen, her expression a mix of pride and exasperation. Quite the diplomatic hurricane you've stirred up, Captain, the Admiral said. Half the Council races are demanding human representatives on their advisory committees, while the other half are demanding restrictions on our activities. Sorry for the complications, Admiral, Maya said, not feeling particularly sorry at all. Jansen smiled slightly. Earth has unanimously voted to stand by your actions, Captain. Your commitment to our principles, even at significant risk, represents the best of what humanity has to offer the galactic community. Thank you, Admiral. Don't thank me yet. Your new orders are coming through now. The Council has requested, specifically requested, that the Resolute serve as Earth's representative vessel for a special expedition. What kind of expedition? Maya asked, curiosity piqued. Seems there's something concerning happening beyond the outer rim. Something the elder races have been monitoring with growing concern. Jansen's expression grew serious. They say they need a crew that knows when to follow the rules and when to break them. Maya looked out at the stars, thinking of the Arbiter's cryptic warning. Whatever waited beyond the rim, humanity would face it as they always had, ready to act when action was needed, permission or not. We'll be ready, Admiral, she said. That's what humans do.